Green, blue, and gray, that's what we rock. On top, right with us. Glad to hear y'all dropped in. On top, slide with us. Walt and Dave get locked in, and let's go.
That's it. Let's go. Hey, is that two? No, we didn't make 2 weeks in a row. Doggone it. So Walter had a birthday last week.
Yeah.
And, hey, Walt, when I texted you, let me introduce you. Hey, I'm Dave, and this is Hawk Talk, and that's Walter Thurman III. Sorry, just jumped right in. Hey, so when I texted you last week, yeah, I'm in. I'm like, oh, boy, you better check with Tiff.
Oh yeah, a little gung ho there, and then she was like, me and the girls are making dinner for you. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Come from practice, getting out here. I'm like, we get done with the show. It's 8:00. And then we're winding the girls down. So yeah,
No.
we're gonna make it this week.
No, hey, like I said, but I was literally shaking my head, going, I don't think you're right. I don't think you're gonna do the show anyway. So that's fine. Hey guys, it's preseason, right? We're still in preseason. So Hawk Talk's still in preseason. Walt and I are the starters, so we're gonna go for about the first quarter, and then we're gonna dip. It's gonna be a short show, but we need to get our legs back, right, Walt?
Yeah, gotta get it in motion. Gotta keep it in motion.
That's it, man. Yeah, we got to brush the dust off the pads and the helmet, and start getting ready for the season. And I know it's just preseason, but I don't think we scored 33 points all year last year, did we?
Could have had a couple games, or maybe close. I mean, right? We scratched the surface. I guess against the Cowboys, we scored 35 against the Cowboys and lost, unfortunately.
Yeah, well,
we put up 37 against the Lions.
Okay. Oh,
no, I lied. That was the year before. That wasn't last year though.
Oh.
So yeah. So last year was a little tough for scoring.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a new season, and I think with preseason, it's always good to see because the starters aren't playing a lot of football. And I think this is really where teams can get a good sense of how much depth they have within the organization.
Right.
So you got to have depth. Injuries are going to happen. Guys are going to miss a week here or there. You have season-ending stuff, and you just never know how things play out.
Yeah. And doggone it, I think Bobo had a game. Do you think we're going to see him on the roster?
It's going to be close.
Yeah.
It'll be close. I mean, it's going to be a big game for him on Saturday. I think he gets on through special teams. If he's a core special team player, punt return, punt return, at a kickoff, then or a kickoff return. If he's on 3 of the 4, then I think he stays. But I think if he's on 2, then it could get tough because we have a very stacked, receiver room though, and guys that they brought in from free agency. Guys that we kind of drafted. So I mean, it's it's pretty heavy in there.
Yeah, it is, and unfortunately, the poor kid has that one big strike against him, and he's just not fast. So he's not gonna, on the special teams aspect of it, he's not big and he's not fast. So all he does is catch great footballs. I mean, it's a guy that you could count on to make quality catches. But that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be one of their tougher decisions. And as we're weeding through the preseason, we're looking at watching the guys that have been nicked in years past. Like Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
He's already battling a foot deal. Hasn't seen much of the field, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're more the new era, so I have a hard time because Chuck threw us out there. Both of my elbows were taped, my groin and my hamstring was taped, and I'm starting. He didn't care. So
it's like that sometimes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to read into it. I mean, what are your feelings on K9?
Some of those soft tissue stuff kind of just lingers, and he's one of the guys that was here before McDonald and the crew got here. So it'd be interesting to see, how he plays out. I mean, it's going to come down to his health. He starts missing games. I mean, obviously, Charbonnet's going to be able to come in there and step up. Halani's been having a pretty solid preseason and running the ball. Looks like he's averaging 9 yards a carry. So, I mean, it's, I think it might be an opportunity just kind of, don't, not to say it's run its course, but I mean, we love Kate, we love Walker there, but it's always just the health, being able to stay on the field. And I think that's going to, potentially be able to do him in. And, potentially if he does stay healthy, you can potentially use him as a means to kind of trade, down the line if someone's in the market for a veteran running back. But yeah, I mean, he has to really focus on his health and just being able to stay durable out there. Because I mean, you can't make it in the training room there. And so,
right.
Regardless of how good you are in that situation, because these young guys are coming in, fighting for their spots, fighting for their livelihood. It's a very deep running back room as well. And
right.
So it's kind of, it's tough. It's tough for him.
So, and Horton's looked good. I guess he's nursing an ankle, which, nicks and bruises, an ankle's a typical, type injury, especially in the receiving area, with all the routes that they're running and things that they're doing and getting tied up with somebody, whatever. That ankle's not a real scary deal. I think for the most part, we're doing pretty well as far as coming through. And then the big news, of course, is Uchenna is finally officially cleared. And just adds to that depth we've been talking about on that front, that defensive front, the edge group.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, so we talked about Bobo being on the cusp. I mean, who do you see? Who do you see? Kind of being a name we're used to, but might be.
Yeah, I think Uchenna could be on the cusp too. I mean,
right,
coming back from injury. I mean, they got him cleared, so I mean, they're really going to see what he's going to be able to do on Saturday. I mean, I can only imagine him getting a lot of reps. I mean, we know he's a pivotal, great asset to the defense there. But again, guys have stepped up last season, and and another guy that was part of Pete's regime, within that capacity, and these. You usually have 3 years. After that first year, you're kind of keeping the guys that are in. From the previous season, and then you kind of start to remove some guys and bring your own guys and personnel that your team has, evaluated and may fit the scheme. And some guys are able to stick on because they are talented players and they can adapt to the new scheme that's there. But being injured and being able to fight your way back on, it's always going to be an uphill battle within that. And again, I think, if he's able to be productive, Saturday, I think they have a tough call to, what's our numbers? Is he a bubble guy? Do we need here because of injuries? Or, I think it could be one of those. Would it be? You can't be surprised if it does go the opposite way. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the business.
Sure it is.
And the limited roster spots that we have.
And it's not like, to your point, it's not like we're suffering in that area. You know what I mean?
We're deep on the defense side of the ball. I mean, you look at the defensive back room too. I mean. We brought in so many corners this offseason while we had, 2 stellar, Pro Bowl caliber corners, all pro corners out there. And so you still bring guys in. And like, how many corners are we going to take and keep? You might, at that point, you might have kind of a hybrid guy that can play, outside, inside, and probably go safety if it need be. Obviously, your core special teams player, if you're the number 3 corner, number 4 corner. So, guys that are familiar names that came back, can't be surprised if they're gone. But I could also see, maybe they're used as bargaining chips, and trade, in some capacity. But it's gonna be interesting to see as after this preseason game comes down, and that long it's a long week. It's a long week. You're just waiting for a phone call. You're waiting for them to say, hey, get that tap on the shoulder, like, hey, bring your playbook in.
That's it.
Or not, you don't get the tap on the shoulder. You come back, that following Monday, and it's like, oh, thank you. I made it.
And I know we've talked about this, but it's a discussion that never gets old because people that watch the show always want to know what is that like? What is that last week, that final cut? And we've both been on both sides of it. It's like, well, at least I did. I did not retire on my own fruition. So, that first year. Walking in the door, and my eyes are like this big. I'm looking for You know, I'm looking for the coach. I'm looking for, you know, whatever indications or a sign saying, you know, this way. And I make it all the way to my locker unimpeded. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a good sign. No tape on my locker, no skull and crossbones, and
Yeah.
and was able to actually sit down on my stool. And as I've also shared, you know, Boz promised me a pair of 44 blues if I made the team. They're sitting on the top shelf, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I was like, I mean, I wanted to jump up and down, you know, but I had to
Yeah.
play it cool, you know.
Yeah.
And,
It's interesting. I remember, yeah, my rookie year, and it's like there's one guy specifically that goes around, and it's like you call him the Grim Reaper.
the
You know,
Grim
the guy
Reaper.
that comes in, it's gonna tap you on the shoulder and ask you to can you bring your playbook, and and it's all she wrote, in that capacity. But for the long time, you don't know who that guy is though until it gets pointed out, and then someone's it's like so it's like you might be in a chow hall or whatever case is, and you might be walking by, but that's the watch for that guy right there. He's the one that's He'll come grab you.
Wait, Walter, when I was there, everybody knew who it was. It was Rusty Tillman, the special teams coach, Chuck's hatchet man.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it. If Rusty started walking towards you, you started looking sideways.
Okay, yeah. So now they got away from having to be one of the coaches and had just a designated person and admin that kind of goes and does it. So kind of keeps it away, But yeah, you always feel for the guys. You create so much bonds through training camp. You're spending long days, with these guys. They become friends. They become family. And once each week, guys are getting cut. Through the course of training camp, and you go to meetings one day, and meetings starting on time. You look into a seat where a guy is sitting, and he's not there no more.
Right.
And it's like you kind of bow our heads, moment of silence real quick for such and such, and you do a moving because that's just the nature of the business.
Yeah.
And so it is an honor to be able to stay on the team through a training camp. But some guys do have the opportunity that get released, but then also have they did have a good preseason. They just didn't fit the numbers because there was injuries over here, and they needed the extra spot for the linemen. And we have too many DBs, so this DB has to go, or this linebacker, whatever the issue may be. But you put so much good tape on preseason to where you're getting picked up by another team, and now you're on another active roster. It may not be with the guys that you spent training camp with and bought into the program, but you still have the opportunity to go on and compete and be a part of an NFL team, though. So just because you may not have the opportunity in one organization, it comes back down to what you put on film. It always comes back down to that.
You're bringing up like a topic that for me, it was like one of those, that wasn't a catch-22. It was just a circumstantial deal. So, much like what you're talking about, we in our DB room, it's the week of final cuts. We have a DB get hurt, another one get busted for drugs, and they're bringing in DBs week that the final freaking week, and then those guys are going to make the roster, but they didn't let go of those other two. Mm-hmm. And I remember when Chuck called me and goes, Dave, we protected you. You were part of our 48-man protection list. And back in the day, they had that where nobody could talk to us. We really had high hopes with everything, but it's a numbers game. And exactly what you said. It's a numbers game. I didn't have an agent at the time. Because I had fired my agent because he had given Ironhead Hayward money, and so I didn't want to be associated with an agent that was doing underhanded things. And actually, I didn't have a choice. Maybe I think he probably got booted. You know what I mean? But so I get released and no agent, and I started the whole preseason and had that really good tape. And it's amazing. Everyone, agents get such a negative deal, right or wrong, but they are so integral because I firmly believe that without having teams didn't know who to contact, and it's not that they're going to call me. They didn't have my number. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, who represents Dave? And that's who I'm going to blame it on. but it is true, to your point, you get released and then your agent goes to work for you, right? There's like, okay, this guy's available and you guys have a spot. And and what I find amazing is how many guys today represent themselves.
Hmm.
And I do you know any guys that ever did that?
Yeah, I mean,
Didn't Richard Sherman?
I think Richard did one of his contracts later. See, a lot of these guys are veterans already. They're like on their third or fourth contract as they're
Right.
doing them. And
Right,
you're not
right.
getting a guy that's coming out of college and representing themselves with
Right.
that. So again, how would you even know how to navigate it? You wouldn't know
Yeah.
how to navigate it.
Yeah,
I think the longer that you're into the league, then you're kind of comfortable in seeing, because also I think your value too. You know what you bring to the team.
right.
You know what your accolades are. For those guys that are, the Russell Coons or the Bobby Wagners or the Richard Shermans, at least the guys that play with that are representing themselves, getting like, Richard, you're one of the top corners in the league. So like, where your bracket is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Bobby, you're the top linebacker. You know where your bracket is. Even though as you're getting older and like you have to be able to maybe finagle a little bit more because of age is getting up there, or you're coming off a season that you had an injury. But for those guys like that, like you kind of know what your standard is, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, it's just the art of the deal, and it's negotiating within that capacity. And you really at that point you're selling yourself as opposed to an agent, being a third party, being able to represent you and highlight your attributes and what you bring to the table and where you stand in the league. I think there's so much information and data now that's out there to where you can kind of run your statistics and compare yourself to other players in the league, and kind of this guy's getting paid X, Y, and Z over here, and we're about the same age, and I had better stats going into this past season. Then you kind of can get a factor. Who's making more money? It's like the T.J. Watt deal, and now Michael Parsons. Like, hey, I'm getting paid. T.J. Watt's like the standard, and if I'm the next guy up that's in that space, I know where I should be around about. Right, and that's how a lot of these guys are doing, especially when you're in that elite category.
Did Micah land somewhere?
No, he asked for the trade, but I don't know if he's. I don't think.
Yeah, well, that was gonna be my next question. Is we're sitting on what 39 million of cap space? We've got a lot
this
of
year's his
talent.
rookie deal. He's still in his rookie deal right now. So like, I mean, we would just have to pay the rookie his rookie deal if we did make that. So I mean,
What?
I think he's on. This is his last year of his rookie contract.
What?
Yeah.
Well, but then it's going to jump incrementally. I mean, it's going to be a huge jump.
But to your point, we have money to cover him for this season.
Yeah.
And now it's just a matter of, are we giving him up a first round draft pick and some other picks for him?
Right.
Or what does that package look like? That what's the package look like of a number sort of guys that we can go send to Dallas to be able to get him? And maybe that's why that's why we brought so many people that are DBs in all the different positions. You get the chin in there as a pass rusher, and K Walker, or you can get creative and put some guys together that could benefit the Cowboys with whatever needs that they may have within that. So you never know. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of talk after this last preseason game between teams and seeing what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we have excess talent and we have cap space. I mean, that's a good position to be in the last week of camp.
Yeah.
Rather than overextended and no freaking talent. I mean, our lack thereof. And I know like I said, we just hosted a guard from the Vikings. I don't have his name off the top of my head, but somebody that's familiar with Sam and I will tell you, watching the O-line play. So, I mean, I know it's preseason. I keep saying it, but the O-line, a lot of people don't know. The O-line plays at least the first quarter, if not the first half, first unit. They're working. They're doing work.
Yeah.
Because they have to, especially ours. They have to get that cohesiveness. They've got to get that bond, right? To all five move as one. And that takes a lot more work than any other position on the field. Everything else is a lot of individual play inside of a scheme. But an O-line is like your left tackle is only as good as your right guard. And so they all have to be able to play, and they put in a lot of work in preseason, and they've looked much better than they've been. They're young, so it'd be great to get maybe another veteran in the room. If a kid, the guy from the Vikings. I don't know if you're pulling up his name. I see you typing, but we could use a little bit of help there. And I think the only other position that doesn't get a lot of attention for us is the linebacking core, which we've got some talent.
Yeah.
But could that be another area that we do a last minute deal on?
Yeah, I mean,
But who's out there? I don't know.
We're four deep at the middle linebacker position.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of guys on the roster. Just a lot of guys on the roster here.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
not for long.
Yeah, not for long. And I think again, it's good from a competition aspect because again, you know that the spots are limited and like you're creating this environment of people that are looking to compete and kind of earn their spot or earn their way onto the team. I think it's good for the culture. But then it also gives us opportunity to be able to kind of make various trades because we do have so much depth.
Yeah, we have some solid names to throw up there. So anyhow, hey, so far so good for the Seahawks. The offensive scheme seems to be working. It's not like we're scoring 7 points and we racked up 33. And the Chiefs never care. I think the Chiefs try to be as bad as possible in the preseason. I don't think they've ever won They're kind of like the Belichick, the Patriots. It's like they almost try to go 0-4.
But yeah, I don't think the Chiefs have a lot of depth though. I think
they don't.
It comes back down to having depth. I mean, you have a high elite quarterback. I mean, you had a very high elite for the longest time, the tight end, and you had a lot of weapons at the receiver, and you can run the ball pretty efficiently. So I mean, you could. And they never got injured either. So, like, I mean, they had the benefit of not having the injuries and, being able to play with their starting group. And, Andy Reid is a mastermind when it comes to play calling. So, he's not running traditional pass concepts. So he's constantly putting stress on defenses, having to cover stuff that's the first time that you're kind of seeing it, that week. So, I mean, that's why they take advantage. I think that's why they take advantage of teams. And, like, right now, they're not going to, pull out that type of playbook in preseason. So it's a little bit more watered down, and I wouldn't say that those are like they call it trick plays, but they're non-conventional plays that most defenses, most teams are used to seeing and running. And so it's really they put a lot of stress on defenses.
Well, was it the Super Bowl? I don't know what it was. When they were in the huddle, they broke the huddle, and they all ran in. They all shot in a circle, and they went to their positions. And Andy gives them like one play that they can design, like Ian. And they did like it was like I was thinking like a North Dallas 40. You're too young, but it was a movie about the Dallas Cowboys, but it just seemed hokey. But I think they made a first. They did something like crazy with it.
And they skated by a lot of games last season too. I mean, they weren't they weren't the dominant Kansas City Chief team as they once were. And so, and that's why the Eagles that's why Eagles won so convincingly because that defense was you went against the number one defense in the league. And that showed in that capacity, especially when you were just kind of squeaking by teams, week in and week out. So,
and some very favorable calls.
Yeah.
Very favorable calls.
Yeah.
At the right moment.
See, they must be talking to the refs before the game. I mean, because the refs, so some of the refs they go out and fly in for the games, and they could be truck driver, they could be working at the school, they could be working here, they work other jobs, and so you just go in and step out your way and have a conversation with them. He might you can have a little hold, and he may not throw a flag on you.
Here we go. Walt's sparking the conversation. All right, man. Well, I'll let you answer those. You're in charge of the chat. Hey, so like I said, it's still preseason. I think we're gonna start doing some cool stuff to get everybody back in the mood, right? Get everyone back in the mood for the season. And we appreciate everybody that follows us, and we've got some awesome people that support Walt and I, not only on the show, but when we're out in the community and doing stuff. And I don't want to start listing the names. You know who you are, because as soon as I start listing the names, I'm going to miss one or two, and I'd be remiss to do that. You know who you are. We appreciate you. So we want to ask for your support because we're enjoying this. What season is this? Third season?
Third season.
Third season. Okay. It's my fourth annual Celebrity and Veterans. So that's where I got to keep my number. So my fourth annual Celebrity and Veterans Golf Invitational, April 6th. I just got the link set up, so I will be posting that. But this is our third season of Hawk Talk with Walt and I, and we've had so many great guests. I just talked to Mike Tice today. Mike couldn't make it tonight. I said, that's fine. Let's get you on during the season. We are going to be doing, so get your calendars out. September 7th, the first game against the Niners. That's going to be Alumni Week. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it this year. Anne Marie broke her ankle, and so we're navigating that, and hopefully, she'll be on the mend, but not navigating airports and dealing with all that kind of stuff in 2 weeks. So, are you going to make it up
to Alumni Weekend?
Yeah.
That's the what weekend you say?
7th.
The 7th?
September 7th. Your season, you're already in season.
Yeah, we start. I guess this is technically the first week, 0 week or whatever. But our first game is next Thursday. But it's a Sunday game, so I mean, yeah, we'll see. I haven't logged it yet, so.
All right, well, get with Mario. Let him know. So that's the big one. That's what we're going to be navigating, and then September 25th is Kenny Burns and the big Arizona takeover. Get that on your calendar. Earl Thomas is going to be our host, hanging out with us to do the big kickoff pregame from 4 to. Oh, Kenny's going to be mad at me if I don't have the times right, but I don't have it right in front of me. But I think it's going to be starting like 3 or 4 o'clock at the Salt Creek. Or now I'm botching the whole thing up. Doggone it. Oh, I'm on my phone. That's why. And Pete, this is all Pete's fault because he told me I need to use my phone, which I usually is right in my hand to have all this information in front of me. Is it the Salty? Can you look it up, Walt, while I'm babbling on here? Or if Kenny's watching, type it in for us, bail me out. But if you have not done a Kenny Burns takeover in Arizona, man, you're missing out because that is something awesome. But like I mentioned, Earl's going to be there. Hopefully, we'll get Earl on the show next week to talk about it, or at least before the event's going on. And here's another cool thing. We have just signed a deal with the Wild Goose in Newport. So all of you Orange County, Southern California Seahawk fans and Seahawkers, when I first got here, I went to a place. I'm not going to name the place because it's an unfavorable place to us, but it was standing room only. There was over 300 or 400 12s in a single bar in Southern California watching the game. That's what we want to build here. The owner of the Wild Goose also owns Malarkeys and Blackies. Mario is an awesome dude. And I said, Dave, you've got this whole bar. It's a side bar, and it spills out. And guys, show up. We're kicking it off this Saturday, the 23rd, against the Packers. I know it's preseason, but come get a feel. It's an awesome vibe. It's an awesome space. Tons of TVs. They're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff with us. And then, of course, we're going to do weekly. We're going to be there every week, starting with the season opener against the Niners. We'll be doing giveaways. We'll actually be doing Hawk Talk from the bar. So we'll be, interviewing people, interviewing the 12s, and having a great time. Of course, and supporting the Seahawks here in Orange County. Cedric, who handles is it backstage or back door? Do you know what Cedric does?
Yeah, I think backstage.
Backstage. Yeah, he's got a directory of places to watch, and so we're on Ced's directory. We're getting all set up. Be watching for announcements and what we're going to be doing. And then the other thing we're going to do is we want to build our viewership. And producer Pete has set something really cool up, and I don't want to mess it up. So Pete's going to jump in either. Oh, there he is.
Hey.
Producer Pete.
Hey, what's going on? All right, fellow 12s, we've got some giveaways that we're going to be doing on opening week. And so if you guys follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube and on Instagram, we've been posting all the different things, but we're going to actually be doing some posts on social media. And so I want to encourage you guys to give us a follow on those. Also, comment on each of the episodes, whichever, if you're watching this one today or the latest one, we'll actually kind of tally up all of your comments and different things there. But who your favorite Seahawk of all time is. Okay. So comment that. And then I want you guys to share your post, tag the guys, tag Hawk Talk on social media, on the stories, different things like that. And then we'll be putting all of that together. And Dave and Walt will also tell you guys exactly what the giveaways are actually going to be for that week as well. So just want to share that info for you.
And so, as you guys can all tell, so Pete's the guy who's going to manage this for us and be able to monitor it all. And our whatever our title is, all the same on all 3 social medias, and it is Hawk Talk with a W, because there's a Hawk Talk out there with an L. It's not us. Hawk Talk with a W 12 on all 3 platforms. So follow us. Every time you put something up there, you'll get an entry, and we're gonna give some cool stuff away. One of which is something I've been hanging on to. I was gonna keep it because it's really kind of cool, but it's Walter Jones signed Starbucks card. I mean, if that's not Seattle, man, we got Seahawks, we got Starbucks, and we got Hall of Famer Walter Jones who autographed this. This will be one of the giveaways. And then we are going to give away, for those of you that are true Seahawks fans, know who this cat is, Nate Boyer, Green Beret, founded MVP with Jay Glazer, did the movie MVP, and he autographed one of these for us. And then another giveaway we are going to do is our little mini helmets. I've been hanging on to this for a minute. We've been making some announcements, and my hand's not that big. This is a mini helmet. So and it's signed by Walter, and and I'm on there too. So here's one other thing. If you put me as your favorite Seahawks player, you're not going to get any extra points. I'm just going to know you're lying, and I'm going to know you're smoozing to try and get extra points. So, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Walter a couple of times. I wouldn't be surprised. But hey, put your entry up there. Follow us. We appreciate you all. Thanks, Pete, for announcing that, and we'll make more announcements and keep you guys posted.
Yeah. All right. See you guys soon.
All right. So we're doing that. We're doing watch parties. We're doing a takeover. We got the kickoff. We got the September 7th announced. Anything else that you want to announce, Walt? Anything else we're doing locally or for charity or anything else?
Yeah, nothing at the moment right now. I just been getting some of these. It's just been football season.
So have you started school yet? Are you guys
They started school last Thursday.
Okay, so you guys aren't in camp anymore. You guys had the 2 days.
Not in camp. We had an inter-squad scrimmage last Thursday. We have a scrimmage this Thursday against Estancia in Costa Mesa, and then we have our first game next Thursday against Los Altos.
So Estancia's had some. They've got some prowess. How are they now?
I don't know. We haven't watched any film on them. I mean, we haven't got any film. I think the coaches have been talking as far as like, I guess the scheme that they're going to kind of run, probably front wise or offense wise, but everything's been kind of surface level. But there's been no film to be able to watch on them. So,
all right,
yeah. All I say is just trust your keys, trust your eyes, and work the technique, and you'll be put in proper position usually. So.
That's it. You almost threw out a Chuckism. The 3 P's: properly paired, prevents. Then I'm sure it's a cuss word because it's a Chuckism. It's the 4 P's: properly prepared. Oh, anyways, I digress. Yeah. So all right, man. Hey, happy with the preseason. Looking forward to the final preseason game. What do you think? Do you think the starters will do the first half? Do you think they'll play that much?
Yeah, historically, when it was back to 4 preseason games, that 3rd preseason game is where the starters would get at least a half of the game.
Yeah.
Not 3/4, right? So, I can see them going out there and playing. You still got to shake the rust off. Because we're going straight into a league game, conference
against
game.
The Niners. That's their first one, man.
Yeah, so that's not a game that we could just drop, out the gate. So, but then also, it's football. You can't think about not getting injured. Anytime you step on the field, you can get injured in practice for that matter. But I think it's, they do need to get the reps. I think you need to see them to be more cohesive, especially on the offense side of the ball.
Yeah.
Because practice is not game. You know,
Impossible.
even being a pro, you just can't just turn it on just from going from practice into the game, no matter how competitive you make, the situation, because you don't have that adrenaline that's flowing in like you would as a game, So
And with the clock going and the boom going and the drive going and then and adversity going, because everything's chopped up and paced, and even the scrimmages, because a lot of these teams will scrimmage during the week against a team they're going to play in preseason as well, because I think we were in Wisconsin, so we had a scrimmage, and so that all being said, what it would make sense to me is that you play at least the first half and actually come out after halftime and get used to that. Because that 10-minute pause or 15-minute pause, that's a big pause to come back out on the field, get warmed up, and to shake it off, to go out there and do at least one drive post halftime.
Yeah, and that's usually what it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're going through the performance, right? I mean, it's a rehearsal. It's a rehearsal.
Right.
We'll go full speed. So even like for the Super Bowl, we would practice stop practice for 25 minutes, because that was a halftime show, right? It's twice as long. Go back to the locker room, take your gear off, do what you're gonna do, and then go back to practice. Just to be able to kind of prepare and get ready on that long wait, like you're saying. So even though you're professional, you're still you're still human, and so you just can't turn it on. You still got to work yourself in getting to game shape.
So I tell you. So Anne-Marie, when I told her I wasn't able to get Tice on, and she goes, "You know what you should do? You should do a show with me and Tiff on, and hear what goes on, like with you guys, and the experiences and the balance and all that stuff." So my task to you is throw it by her.
Okay.
And maybe sometime so that way the folks get to see, like, let's unveil the curtain behind the
okay.
and make sure we're really as cool as we say we are.
Okay, yeah, we can. I think she'll be up for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And we get and we give it again. Of course, you guys, you got to bring the girls in, at least for that everyone appreciate those little darlings, man. It's great to see when you come out and you bring them, how you dote over them, and I can see why, because they're just little sweethearts running around.
Yeah.
But it's fun to see you, not only in this capacity, but as a friend and as a father, and it's cool. But I think the girls will probably have a good time making fun of us, and we'll let them, and that's okay.
They'll love being on it. They're silly. They'll be silly on.
Yeah. We'll get Pete to coordinate it. We'll do that. Anyhow, I don't got anything else this week. Come see us though at the Wild Goose. This is our preseason. This is our dry run, but we're going to be in full regalia for that Niners game. We're going to be putting it on blast everywhere. So if you're in Southern California, you're going to want to be at the Wild Goose for that season opener against the 49ers, because that sets the tone for this entire season. Like Walt says, there's no, man, we got to be ready. That's not like, playing a out of conference game, where we can rebound from that. That sets our record for the conference against our arch rivals. I think I would call them that now, wouldn't you? The Niners.
It's so much history now. It's a game.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Hey, thanks for joining us, and as always, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
We'll see you guys next week. We're still here, Pete.